yes, something worked. My countdown timer didn't. Well, it didn't seem to. But everything else, I think, is working back the way it was. Now, this probably sounds pretty awful, so I need to can that. Yes. That should clear that up. There we go. That looks like that's cleared that up. So, welcome to Saturday. It is. It's been a weird day today. You know how some days just do what days do, and other days just don't seem to fit together. Well, today was definitely one of those. So, I am slightly out of sync with myself today. I think that's probably the nearest description to it. But we are good. We are here. Yeah. We have achieved something. Not a lot, apparently, but we have achieved something. So, let us get down to business. So, here we are. That looks weird. Is that just the angle and the... Yeah, it is. That's right, the top of the box. Where is it? Here. This box here. Because of the shiny bobbins, looked like it was kind of mangled in the little tiny thing on my computer. As we know, that's... But, here we are, on the final strip. I'm going to have to pin them down, I think, actually. Because it's kind of puffing up, and we don't really want that. So let's find a hole. And plug a couple of pins in. So, there we go. Hold that down. Be a few days before we get that far. Let us grab you. We will start here. Oh, I got a thing in the post today. Got a thing in the post. It's a tube. Now, I'm pretty sure you're not overly impressed at the fact that I got a tube in the post. For, it's only a tube. It's what's in the tube, my friends. It is what's in the tube. So, one of them does look a little bit mangled, which is quite surprising, but if I pull out, it is those things I ordered online, and here is, for example, part of the pattern. And I ordered a few of them, and they have arrived. So, the only problem is they do this. I need to get in and grab the middles, give it a bit of a twist to make it go in better. There we go. So I now have the fancy weirdy patterns to put on my bolster pillow, which means I probably will, because as you know, occasionally I get the hankering for doing some lace that is not the project at hand, but that I do not necessarily need to film for the video of the neck curtain, but I do enjoy doing other... That's not right. I screwed up already. Stupid cow. Now, the question is, why is that screwed up already? Because that doesn't look right at all. No, that is right. I'm being a plank. Told you today I'm not myself. So this is right. This goes in this hole here. Like that. Just having one of the moments. Let's call it a senior moment. So, you two. And given that it is Saturday night, you know what we should do? We should find ourselves some music. Let me do the thing with the music. Now, that's probably the other thing that's not working right. Yeah, you were not hearing music anyway. So that's something I need to add to the thing of things. So let me hit play on that for the moment and go and add that while I remember. For some reason, it just switched me back to me. That's weird. Ah, okay. I didn't even press it. Let me give you that back. No, that's not what I expected. Maybe this will be it. I think that's what I want to do. Hang on. Yeah. Enable Heartbound on track 1, disable Amazon on track 1. There, yeah. That's what I want. I need to add that to my list, but I need to move it up to the top. There. That's irrelevant. We don't need to do that. Anyway, the confusion reigns supreme. Right, let's go back to actually doing something I do understand. Crossing bobbins about. Flipping bobbins. That's what we need. table. Feels like my arms seem short today. As in, that's the full reach of my arms. But I don't think I'm sitting any differently to normal. If anything, I pulled the pillow closer to me, so I don't understand. Maybe the dogs have knocked the table. And I miss... and so as a result, it is further away, but because I brought it closer, I was expecting different. Threw a pin on the floor. Foot's going to sleep already. That was a bit quick. need to remove jumper. Getting warm. There you go, Roy. You can snuggle against my jumper. Good boy. Ooh, it's colder without my jumper. Of course it is. Alright, Samantha. Yes, it is. Interesting. There it is. Thank you for that. You did not hear the dog barfy noises, be happy. Got an itch. Oh, big itch. Hello, hello. You are alive, my friend. I was getting worried. How you been? I relate to that sentiment. Is there anything I can do? Bear in mind I'm also in shit feelings of life, but I might be able to help you with yours. Sadly, I echo those sentiments entirely. Now, this is not a serious offer, but have you ever heard of the story Strangers on a Train? Basically, in short, if you haven't, is that one, they coincidentally meet on a train. Yeah, okay, so coincidentally, they meet on a train, and they're going somewhere. It's set in England usually, but doesn't really matter where the fuck it is. So they meet on a train, and how are you? I'm shit, kind of thing, right? What's the matter? Oh, this person's done me bad, kind of thing, right? Huh? How are you? Yeah, someone's done me bad. Removing them from humanity would be, for the good of the world. And they each decide that because they've randomly met on a train, if they each kill off the other one's problem, no one will know. Because, well, two random people on a train, they've got nothing more in common than they met on a train and they've got a problem. And so they proceed with they don't get away with it, but they proceed with the event. And, there is kind of, there is some kind of reason behind it, it does make a lot of sense, I'll do yours if you do mine kind of deal, I'm sorry to hear you have your moron. I know the feeling. And I don't think people realise just how hard one other human being can really get to you. And it's not, I mean, people will say, oh, for you to be annoyed at someone, you've got to care. No, they can just be that friggin' annoying. So, yes. I'm sorry, my friend. I'm sorry. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Eating them would be a very good option. I agree with that. They probably taste a bit rank, frankly, but... And I feel that is one side of the story they failed to really kind of address, is that surely the aftertaste is a little bit rough, but, you know. There'd be a few people I would happily feed to venom, that's for sure. And I don't feel society would feel a loss, you know. For I know I'm not the only one that would not mourn their lack of existence, you know. Pardon me. I understand. I understand. Very much understand. Yeah. Well, you can always talk to me, you know that, right? You know I will sympathise and listen and do my best. Might not be a good best right now, but I will do my best. No, that is right. Apparently it's gonna rain. Big freaking whoop. It's 20 past 11 at night. Who cares if it's gonna rain? I'll be going out in it. Oh no, that doesn't sound good. Why unmaking cord? Fair enough. And how did you get on? That's not too bad. The reason I say that is because the spinner within me will tell you that any string, actually, grab a piece of string that's big enough. If you untwist it, you inherently, so this is 4-ply, because it's 8/4 cotton, right? If you untwist it, it has like if it's been twisted for a while, it will have a memory. And in undoing it all and making the individual strings from it, so undo those, hang on, like this. Now undoing them is easier on a spinning wheel, I have to point out, but you get into a problem where when originally these strings were made, they will have been highly twisted, but by the process of twisting them together, you generally untwist them a bit in spinning. Not necessarily the same as rope making, I will grant you. That's right, I'm just trying to split this one with my finger. There we go. So you end up with the 4 strings, but these are not that strong anymore. And they've lost all the extra twists they would have had. So if I now twist them like this, they don't tend to stay because they've not got the twist that they would have had. So for example, these strings, if I twisted them clockwise, which is normal. These are twisted clockwise, but to spin them together, you would twist them anti-clockwise. So I would now have to go along and spin each of these to over twist them, which is really hard to do when you've only got a pair of hands, right? And then, let me, for example, grab one more and over twist this one. Hang on. Trying to do as much as I can on camera, but it's difficult. Right, so if I over twist this, these two will now twist together in an anti-clockwise. But you see, now I over twisted them, they've twisted together and they're stronger as a pair. And I'm not going to do it for all 4 because I haven't got enough fingers for that shit. But, so in spinning, if you want to undo and redo, it's not as simple as it sounds. Now, obviously, to an extent, with a spinning wheel, you do have a slight advantage. But again, you can't, in that you can unspin and, you know, wind it onto some spools. But you really need 4 people, or however many strands your rope, stroke, string, stroke, whatever you're making, is made from, to store the now energized twist in spinning terms, so that you can then go about re-spinning it to tighten it or otherwise. Now, there are times where you can, say, put it through your wheel and remove a little twist or add a little twist. But you can't... Your rope making relies on a slightly different process, although I'm not sure it has to, but I think for longevity it works better, in that you rely on the Hey, neck kisser. You rely on the over twist to then twist them together. We don't. We reverse that to a more neutral state to get, because, well, if your yarn was as thick as the rope that you're making and suitable for the Indian rope trick, it wouldn't be a very comfortable jumper, now would it? Now, obviously, there are times when we do denser and more twisted things for things like socks to make them hard wearing. But we also then usually incorporate a bit of nylon or something to help also strengthen it up a bit. But it is difficult, I think, to take something you had and maybe kind of decompose it back a stage or two, and make it go forward again into a usable result. Ah, sneaky. Well, happy birthday to Netkiss's dad. It was my dad's birthday yesterday. Now, obviously, my dad's died, but well, he's dead, more accurately. He died 7 years ago now. But it was still a hard day for me, given that he, you know, it would have been his birthday. And today, although there's only half an hour of it left, trying to work this out. 26 years ago today, I went in. 26 years ago today, I was in hospital. I had gone into hospital. And tomorrow morning will be 26 years since I found out I had leukemia. And I puked on my consultant's shoes. Because that's how that went down. Ah, Miss Kimber, yes, the results for your test are back. Yes, you have acute myeloid leukemia. Splatter, splatter, splatter. To be honest, I'm impressed I could throw up, because I hadn't eaten or drunk anything for a week, so, you know, I reached for that. I reached hard for that. I relied on my ancestors for that one. I couldn't even drink water. It's the only reason I'd gone to the doctor was not because anything else felt particularly wrong, was because I couldn't even keep water down. That is not a normal symptom of leukemia. Do not think that it is. I had a real bitching cold, and the bitching cold, I'd felt like crap for a week, but my doctor sent me for a blood test, and they basically came back with, "Oh my good God, woman, what have you been doing? We've been trying to get hold of you. Your blood counts are horrendous. You need to be in hospital now." They then did more tests. "Can you pee in this?" "How? I haven't drunk anything for a week. How do you expect me to pee in? Fine. Squeeze! Drip. There you go. One drop is all I have, you know. And from that, they then did some more tests, and tomorrow morning would be 26 years since they drilled a hole in my pelvis, extracted chunks of me, and went, "Ooh." Yeah. As I said, it's very hard to undo and redo because they do have a bit of a memory. And it just never seems to go that way. fine. I'm not Cal. Look what I got. Baby sticks. Little baby sticks. Yeah, I can understand that. Yep, little baby stickities. I mean, they're just under half, to be honest. So if I put that there, you can see they're just under half. But they are really good for 2 pairs. Well, 2 or 3 pairs. You can probably squeeze 3 if you wanted to. But it does mean that they're great for holding things a bit more temporarily. But also, when it comes to these big motifs, when I've got lots of... because I've got 8 of them, I can put a pair of bobbins on each and flip them around. Don't have to speed it up a bit. They were on eBay. I don't know where she got them from. She obviously got them thinking they were bigger or something and didn't want them. And I'm like, oh my god, they're perfect. So, I bought them. Because that was the right thing to do. Ooh. I got a book. Hang on. Rory's sleeping on it. Hang on. A Celtic tatting, a design journey on an ancient theme. Now, I will point out, it's not the most helpful book. So it's got letters, but it does things like a Celtic cross, tells you how to make it, and it is done in a much more actual Celtic knot style, in that you you start at one end and join it and it's all done. Occasionally you make 2 of them and join them together. Yes, I did, sorry. A book on making Celtic patterns, and see if we can find a random one. So how to make that just looks like a knot. That doesn't look like anything. It's not one of those books that flips very well. So there's a whole pile of letters. Don't really care for the letters at the moment. But I was more interested in things. So like they've got a Celtic cross and a different Celtic cross. And they show the path that it takes. And a bit of how you kind of weave it all together to make it come out the other end. So it wasn't expensive a book, so I thought it would be interesting. It will do, because it's made in a very similar way, in that you start instead of having multiple ropes, or one long rope making multiple trips round the segment, but you do the start here and basically make a string. Now occasionally you make a loop, so a bit like you do, where you make a loop and you go round a thing and make loops out of it. You make a loop and you kind of join the loop at the bottom. but it's kind of much more Celtic than anything you do generally in bobbin lace. But I thought it'd be an interesting read, if nothing else. I also got in the post. Remember I saw that website with all the pretty designs on, and I didn't know how many of things to order, and I didn't know. Do you remember though? But do you remember I saw various things and I wanted to try them? Well, they came in the post too. It's one of them. It's all rolled up, so but that's one of them. So I have a whole kind of pile of things to do. Yes, it was. Yeah, that one made me cry a little bit, but it has arrived. I do actually have to pull them all out and check I've got what I asked for at some point. This always sounds like a hand-cranked record player to me. If you listen to any of the longer notes in the background, they seem to waver like this. Especially at the end. And yes, I do pay that much attention to these things. It's one of the first things I noticed about it, actually. Yes, and that's what I mean, the stretch tape effect. It's like it's a hand-cranked record player and they're not entirely either. I know what you mean. But as you say, it's the stretch tape or they get a bit of speed on the way down, so it's not an even rotation. But as you say, the stretch tape, that's a really good way of putting it. It's not a good sound, frankly. But the end is really, really noticeable. If people haven't heard it by now, you wait till the end. That final note just kind of... It's horrible. Listen for it. Hang on, sorry. I did hear my phone go, hang on. Ting. Oh, they look really smart. In case people are wondering what we're talking about. Naughty Cat's gourds, look. And that was partly what I was saying, is that when you do it as a weaver, you spin one way and you twist the other. And this gives it more strength. What the fuck are you doing, Kimber? This is not what you wanted to do. That's always a good thing. feel you should be in there. One, two, three, 4, 5, 7. Then did I borrow from you, perhaps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, I need a wee. Sorry, brains. Now I've thought too hard. I need a wee. I shall be back in a... Back again. Oops, dropped it. Doesn't help. Going to rewind some of these bobbins to tidy up the bottoms. Not the most exciting thing for you guys to watch, admittedly, but yeah. Mine, but it gives me cramp doing this. I'll do for the moment. Right, now, could do with making you all a little bit longer. Which is part of the reason we had to redo those bobbins, because they don't tend to be the ones that want to undo. Yeah. I saw that coming. And you've confused my brain now. Start again. This is what happens when they build a bit of a loop, is that occasionally the loop leaps off the top or makes it kind of roll down and fall off, and as a result of which, of course, you go to do something like this and, well, by the time you put the bobbin back together, you've forgotten what you were doing. Too much. I phoned the opticians this week to ask them a couple of questions, or an opticians this week, to ask them a question, because for any of you who've had an eyesight test in the UK, you'll know that there are two styles of having an eyesight test. One is the man with basically some half moon kind of frames with some little circles that they slot in and twist about a bit, and, you know, mainly the slot in things. And then there's like this big mega plastic thing that looks like almost an oversized pair of oversized glasses. So this thing's probably 1.5 meters wide, huge. But in it is basically all of the gadgets to do all of the tests, and they plonk it in front of your face and fake the eye test through this machine. My brain can't do the machine one. It freaks out and does weird things, and they don't get the accurate results that they need, and then they get mad at me when they insist that my prescription's X, and I go, no, it's not. And they give me they then make the glasses, I put them on my face and go, I can't see through this. I can't. I mean, I had it once, and my glasses had been broken by the dog, so I desperately needed a pair of glasses. Yeah, they are. And they insisted that my prescription was to be a lot weaker than it should be. And when I put the glasses on, I literally couldn't see clearly the other end of their shop, let alone anything else. So, and they were like, oh, well, you have to give it time. No, bitch, I can't see. I've been wearing glasses longer than you've been alive. I can tell you now. Anyway, they insisted I tried it for a week, and then went back, and the buggers wanted to charge me for a new prescription. It's like, no, I told you on the day that this prescription was, oh, we don't have any record of that. And I went, well, whose fault's that? I told you, and, you know, you were absolutely assured me, you know, to give it a week, it would be fine. And I'm back here to tell you I still can't read the road sign across the road. So they are no use to me for driving around. They're no use to me for anything. I need a pair that I can see through. I did win, but they were really, because it was a week later, and that apparently is their normal thing to say, but because they'd not written down that I objected that they weren't right, they tried to make out that obviously my eyesight was failing that quickly, and it's like, no, I've had the same prescription now for distance for 30 years now. So, no. Don't be telling me my prescription's deteriorating when you've dropped my prescription down to kind of like half what it used to be. And then now of course it's got to be stronger, because and this was before they'd even done the test, and they ended up redoing the test and doing it on a normal thing, came up with the answer I first gave them. So so I took in my old pair of glasses, even though they were broken, and said, well, this is the prescription I went in with. And they went, oh, well, that does seem to be the same as the results from the new test. And I went, as I said, the new test doesn't work on me. But the person I spoke to was like YTS Employee of the Year, in that he didn't know any of the answers to any of the questions. And I think I really upset him when and I said, so do you have the newfangled test with the big pair of plastic glasses, or do you do it the old style with the wire frames? He went, well, unfortunately, we've only got the old. Excellent, I said. And he was kind of like, what? I went, yeah, I like that one. So I think I upset him greatly. Shame that. I didn't book a test with him on the spot. I am going to think about it, because they don't do lenses on site on that one. And so it'd be a 10-day wait, which is a pain in the arse. He doesn't know of anyone that can recoat these or take the coating off these, which would also be a good option. So he wasn't very helpful at all, to be honest. But to be honest, last time I went to the opticians, I went to one that was just up the road from my old house. I mean, literally just up the road from my old house. And they've moved and joined with a different one now. So I'm a little bit dubious, but I'd bought a pair of glasses from them, got a pair of lenses put in them and used them for a while. Well, I get the opposite in that they expect you to read kind of here. I don't. I read like 2 inches from my nose. So the moment they say, can you read this? I hold it much closer and they go, oh, no. I said, but that's where I read. That's where I hold things to read. Oh. So do you... they don't like me either, so I won't worry. Missed. There it is. But as you say, opticians have this kind of very preset, you must do it our way, you should read here, you should do this. And it's like, no. Because I'm short-sighted, I read with things 3 inches from my nose because I could focus, well, closer. Well, I couldn't, but I've got more chance of seeing that. Oh. So that is the natural... Plus, I've got boobs, and either you have to do it one side of the boob or the other. If you're going to hold a book, it's either got to be above the boob or below the boob. And there's a good few inches difference, you know? And so, yeah, there is no kind of in the middle. It's just not comfortable. It's either got to be on my lap or above the boob. And I choose above the boob because that's where I can see. And they don't like it. They really don't like that. Well, like you, I can kind of count books I've read. Not quite on one hand, because I've read a series that had 26 books in it. But I can almost name every book I've ever read. Reading per se is not something I do. I mean, I read the backs of things, but I don't exactly sit there reading epic tomes for hours a day. So, like you, I sit on a computer, I do this, and my computer is my TV, because I stream everything. So, I'm sorry, but I don't really need, the actual need for being able to read. I can always take my fucking glasses off. My reading prescription is now enough that if I mean, it's right, I'm just gonna I'd say 9 inches from my face now. I can see clearly. So, to be honest, if I wanted to read, I could just take my fucking glasses off. So I don't need it for reading. I need it for computers, and I need it to drive, and see the dog in the garden and shout at it. I don't need, like you, I don't need it for reading per se. Now, I appreciate the reading of my, how to cook or reheat my dinner is one thing, but you really think I live that exciting a life? I eat the same shit morning, noon and night kind of thing. I know how long. I know my pizzas go in for 12 minutes. I know the sausages need 20 minutes. I know the croquet potatoes need 25. So I put the sausages at the bottom and stick them on for 25. And I know how long to cook a chicken when I do chickens. I know. And God forbid, the one time I need it, I can always take my fucking glasses off. Well, funny you should say that. There was a guy at work, and we all sat there in utter bemusement. So I have varifocals, so that I only have one pair of glasses because it makes life nice and simple. They are stupidly more expensive, but I have one pair of glasses for my face. He had 5. He had 5 fucking pairs of glasses, and you'd sit there and he spent all day swapping glasses, and you're like, I haven't got the patience for that. And it was like, why do you need 5? I mean, his eyesight wasn't even that bad. I'm sure his opticians have basically gone ka-ching. I think a bit like my dad. My dad was convinced that he could not see without his glasses. If my glasses were out by that, I wouldn't know. I'm not saying he didn't have a prescription, but 0.25 is not really a prescription. But he was adamant he couldn't see without them. Dad, seriously. Your glasses, Well, exactly, the only thing you can do, if your eyes are equally shitty, which mine are, which is quite good, you can buy cheap glasses off Amazon. So, I don't have any to hand. Well, I do, but they're kind of over there and behind a bit of Mount Gratmore. You can buy, they're not particularly good looking, but I'm sure for the price you can waive that one. For like £5-10, you can buy short-sighted glasses and long-sighted glasses up to certain values. To the point, I have, even for my chronic eyesight, a pair of distance glasses that gives me sufficiently good vision that should I stamp on these in a fitter age or something, as long as I could find them, I could put on these distance ones. They'd be no good for seeing the speedometer or anything, but I could drive with them on to get to the optician to get a new pair of glasses, right? So you could do, and knowing, if you know how your eyesight works, which I can advise you a little bit on, you can, if for example you just need reading glasses, let's pretend you just need reading glasses. So normal driving, you don't need a pair of glasses, but for normal life, well, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you need, if you've got 3.5, which gives you, let's say, my above the boob reading value, because that's, funny enough, exactly my reading value for that I'm using right now. Now, obviously, my above the boot reading value is probably nearer 3.775 now, maybe even 4. But you can make slightly less strong ones for further away. So if you've got, say, a computer and 3.5 is too much, well, go down the chemist, find the reading glasses section, because they're still fairly cheap in the in the chemist, but go and pick one and then stare through Amazon to see if you can find a slightly less minging pair and order the prescription that you need for, say, your computer. You do not have to pay optician's rates if your eyes are equally fucked up. The only time you have no choice is when they're not even. Now, for years, mine weren't even, but mine have evened out, which is great. So yes, I can wholly recommend the DIY side of that. I mean, the opticians are all shouting and screaming, but because, well, you're doing them out of thousands of pounds of money, but it's funny how, you know, a minging pair of glasses from Amazon or the chemist is, say, £10, but pretty much the same glasses from your optician starts at £300-400. The other thing that you get at an optician's that you don't anywhere else is the correct placement for your pupils. So, if, for example, if you've got a pair of eyeballs, you don't necessarily look like this. If your nose is in the middle, one could be further away, and they won't make that an adjustment for you because obviously they don't know. Only an optician does that, which is why they always mark both lenses and make a mark for both lenses. They don't just go, your pupil distance is X. They do, here is the centre of the nose, this one's this far off, this one's that far off. And they don't generally want to share that information, so you can buy online from cheaper places either. So, I have a bit more confidence now that I put enough thread on, if anything, possibly even a bit too much. So we shall see. Personally, it's better to have too much than not enough. I mean, it's a bit wasteful. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not the most expensive shit in the world, that's for sure. So, stretching legs. doesn't look right. So what am I looking at that doesn't look right? This. It's not. This should be you. That's better. no worries, Nautical. I'm kind of thinking of calling it a night, although it's only 1 o'clock. I have done best part of 1.5 inches, so while you'd think I'd be like, yeah, let's keep going, let's make the most of my speediness, I really could do with going to bed earlier, because by the time I've done shit, I've been going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, and well, I need to quit doing that. So and I've also got a few videos I need to upload because I've been a bit remiss on doing that and all. So, yeah, kind of need to catch up with a bit of that. So, I probably won't be too much longer. But I'm feeling pleased with the progress of today after all. Yeah, and that's the problem I easily do. I will easily stay up all night and sleep all day, and I can do that in a heartbeat. What I can't do is rock the clock back round so I'm awake all day and asleep all night. It kind of gets to the bottom and stays there, you know? And I'm not really a night owl, I'm just not a morning person. But I'm also not a morning person. It's weird. And I think that's part of the problem, is that, like you've just said, the problem with the darker months is it feels like you're up all night even when you're not. And so, you know, it's quite easy to do the same during the summer, is to, you know, only sleep when it's dark. Well, it's not really dark, so you don't really bother, you know. You kind of keep going till you can't. But yeah, for some reason, I would happily easily stay up till 4 or 5 this morning and not think twice about it, which is generally not ideal when you've got to go to work. So, It's okay, not a count. Actually, I think Naughty Cat's got a really good point. Let's take a picture. Look for stare for mistakes, because I have seen one, but I am not going back that far. So this one is annoying. Let me grab this and try and find it for you. Let me get my bearings. Why is it you only ever see them significantly after? So it's above that and to the right. Okay. So, chunk, 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 chunk. Ah, not going to go back that far. Hang on. Let me spin it around a little bit. Now, it's not going to be that obvious from this angle, but it's this pin here. This pin is wrong. So this one here. Something's wrong there. And I don't think I did all the right things. No, I didn't. If I move it around, can you see it any better? Dog, do you mind not stretching and trying to push me off the couch? Come on. So it's here. There is a line, but you can't really see it on camera because it's behind another pin, which is the problems I have. Where is it? It's this one. Can you see it? There's a line. I didn't do that pin right, but I am not going all the way back there for it. I mean, I've gone back and fixed some stuff, and we've gone back decent chunks, but I am not going back that far. Oh well, chalk it up to the first known mistake that is kind of gonna live in our souls. I mean, it's not huge. I mean, it will show if you look hard enough, but I don't think it will kind of go hey too much. It will do enough, but it will. But you know, we are this close to the end, right? It's going to be towards the bottom of the window, not the top or the middle. Sorry, because the middle is where more noticeable things are, because that's kind of where you look. You naturally look in the middle of things, so it won't be the last. I'm just disappointed because at no point do you consciously fuck it up, but I do seem to. So, but we shall be back tomorrow to finish inch 32. We're not that far away. I mean, if I stuck with it another half an hour, we probably could have done it, maybe 45 minutes. But I need to try and keep a reasonably normal sleep schedule. Something I'm failing to do terribly. It seems to be, I get to about midnight, I blink, and then it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know quite what goes on, because I'm pretty sure I don't go to sleep sitting up. Time just disappears from me. So I shall be back tomorrow. I probably won't have finished fixing my thing. my OBS, but we are pretty fixed now. So with any luck, it's only one thing that doesn't work. So take care, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye.